Yep.
Hi, we're back with Tom Price, and this is episode number 6 of Civic Concerns. And Tom and I are advocates. We're not agitators, or we may agitate to a certain extent. But we're getting together to talk about some very important issues. What probably will live on in Sudbury for many years to come. Maybe. I'm wondering in particular, and the reasons for the culture hub. I asked one of the counselors, can you tell me what is the reason for the culture hub in the arena and, all this new development downtown? What was the matter with the old? How come we have the new? So I received some answers.
Wow.
And I'm just going to, this is a reason for the new culture hub. It's going to be a positive anchor in the downtown, create a welcoming first impression, support tourism visitation, support businesses to attract new talent, contribute to downtown revitalization, trigger private investment in the historic core. Now, a lot of my career was in writing commercials. This sounds like somebody's writing a commercial, but they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, it's almost a direct quotation from the justification for building Civic Square back in 1973.
Okay.
And we know how well that worked.
It's not a bad building.
No.
Now, mind you, accessibility seems to be a problem. And this is in its present form as a civic center for employees and to conduct the business of the city. Even though it's a little difficult to get there, there's parking situations that do not contribute to the facility in any manner, except for those who are lucky enough to have permanent parking down underground. The rest of us have to sort of find our way there. But this seems to be the elephant in the room. Regardless of all these wonderful things that it may or may not do, there's no parking. Or there is parking, but it's not sufficient parking.
But we've heard from the former manager of development and infrastructure, Mr. Chikuti, that there is no problem with parking. There's plenty of on-street parking and private parking for the new event center, which will add another 1,160 people to the downtown on an event day. But,
well, the problem is, as we discussed in our last episode, we can't even get a chance to talk to those who are involved to get the answers as to how these questions are going to be, come to realization.
Well, the downtown master plan answers that. There are 3 parking structures included in the downtown master plan, even though apparently Mr. Chikuti didn't know about that. But there's one at the Elgin Street and the Bridge of Nations. There's one where the former Salvation Army building was.
All right.
And there's one in Energy Court, which you get to or access by a pedestrian overpass over the railway lines at the end of Cedar Street. So I can see why they don't consider parking a problem. With those structures, we should be able to handle it.
And the cost, I believe, nowadays of a parking structure can be anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000 for each
per
space.
Parking spot.
Yeah, each
yes.
space, which is fairly significant. We're going back to the culture hub again. Are you ready for this? Okay. The project's vision for success. Okay. To create a culture hub that is economically, socially, environmentally, and politically sustainable through celebrated architecture while creating a destination for tourists, a catalyst for community growth and economic development. Wow.
Well, there's a problem with that in that the 2 consultants for the event center told council very explicitly that there was no potential for tourism from south of Sudbury. So what they're saying here is that the tourism from north of Sudbury will provide this. And this is just to attract people from further north. Okay? So now the small problem with that is how they get here.
Well, and of course,
Okay.
are there that many people further north? I mean, how many people are we talking about who are potentially going to be, flooding through the gates of the culture hub?
Well, apparently we're going to give them more money so they can fly their planes down, okay? Because right now that's the only route to get here.
Well, I'm a little frustrated, as I think a number of, matter of fact, I think that a large number of our citizens are so frustrated that they've actually turned off because they actually can't see how this is going to be something that's going to be, as they say here, economically and politically sustainable. Well, politically, maybe, because the politicians can always say things are great.
Well, and I have to apologize before I go any further here. If I seem a bit ambivalent, when you talk about political sustainability, good Lord, we do not want that. We're seeing the political situation right now, and we do not want to sustain that. So, and that's not ambivalence. That is a very serious concern. Sorry about that.
Well, do you think some people have suggested that there be time limits on councillors and mayors, or those that we elect locally? Because after you've been there for 3 or more terms, you become, I guess, embedded in the culture.
I was hoping, when you mentioned time limits, I was hoping a few hours, not a few terms. We have one councillor who's served for 5 terms. That's 20 years.
Right.
Some of the things have changed since then, but we haven't evolved. Our whole council structure and our whole council way of doing business has not evolved with planet Earth. It's that simple. It's been imposed on us by would-be emperors. And they're tiny emperors, admittedly, but they think they are the head of the kingdom of Greater Sudbury.
And also, it seems that they don't take their responsibility as seriously as many of us feel they should. And I think one good example of that is that when you're looking at the homeless situation, council always just turns to the staff. Staff, what's the solution? What's the answer? What can be done? They don't take it upon themselves, whereas one councillor in Thunder Bay, with respect to the tiny homes thing, that's been utilized in many other communities, and Peterborough in particular is a good example. But that councillor in Thunder Bay actually phoned Peterborough. Peterborough got on the phone and actually talked to them. Amazing. Well, I mean,
do you know what would happen here? I can tell you, because 3 councillors came to a meeting on a situation like that. They all got charged by the charges to the integrity commissioner. 2 of them got fined.
Right.
For attending a meeting on that type of thing. Good grief. If they'd have been in Thunder Bay, they might have been able to add to the city, but not here. No. You can't go to a meeting that might inform you.
So they stepped out of line. And,
oh, boy.
And we had one councillor who actually went down to Peterborough, took a look at it, was sort of impressed. He thought, okay, it's worthy of consideration. But when the motion was put before council just to look at the situation, not to incorporate it, not to go ahead, just to look at it, they turned it down by 8-3.
Yep.
Because, why? Because they turned to staff, and staff lied to them, giving them false information with respect to what's happening in other communities. And the councillors themselves didn't have enough, I will use the term my father used to use, don't you have enough gumption, boy? They didn't have enough gumption to do anything themselves.
Well, I thought we just discussed political sustainability. We do not want that sustainability.
No. We want those to come in there and sort of shake up things. Anyway, okay, continuing on here. Are you ready for the next quote?
Sure.
The project created a nationally significant hub providing a venue for arts, culture, technology, knowledge, and innovation through the creation of a facility that includes a central library, an art gallery, and a multicultural facility, which actually has 2 employees, I think. But anyway, so this is not just Sudbury. This is the world, basically. We're looking at
Shades of empire building.
Yeah.
What else can you say? What I mean, Sudbury has been a cultural hub since its inception.
Yeah.
The whole city and the whole industry of Sudbury was built on multicultures.
Yeah.
It has gotten along very well. We've worked with each other. There's been no racial, no ethnic discord, well, for over 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now we need a cultural hub to allow these different cultures to work together, I presume? Or is this going to foster each culture to go its own separate way within our greater city? That's called divisiveness. Well, that conflicts with the council's policy of inclusivity. So they work against each other continually.
Yes, it almost leaves you at a loss for words.
I'm never lost for words, John.
How about this one? The new Central Library will be a 21st century library, one which bridges the technology access divide and supports the community in meaningful ways while still providing access to a great collection, whatever that means. Now, the new Sudbury Library is being renovated at the present time.
Yep.
I don't know why, because it looked good to me last time I was in there a few weeks ago. The South End Library is our most used library within the central city.
Yeah.
Downtown, not used that much, but it stood the test of time, is I guess what I'm trying to say. And it looks almost as modern as the other 2 libraries. And I'm not sure how it's going to look compared to the new Sudbury Library when it's renovated. For whatever reason why.
They'll adjust the looks down a bit so that it doesn't.
Everything looks the same. But with our surveys that we've done through various groups and talking to individuals, the downtown library is quite adequate, but not adequate and not suitable enough to apparently to satisfy our current technological needs. What else are here? It's going to be a 21st century library, which I'm not exactly sure what that means.
Well, I'm not either, because we are in the 21st century. In fact, we're beyond that now. What are we talking about? 21st century. I mean, it's ultra modern in the technology they're using in those libraries. Not only that, those 3 libraries form the core of availability for 11 other libraries in the outer urban areas.
That's right.
So we end up with 13 libraries already tied into that core set of 3 libraries. And I was quite amazed recently. I was trying to access a library book called Atlas Shrugged by author Ayn Rand.
Yep.
And I went to the library in Coppercliff, and they said, "Oh yes, we can get that for you." And they got on the computer and borrowed a copy from Barry. And within a week or so, it arrived. I was able to source the information I desired. I took it back in. And what better technology can you get? I mean, I'm at a loss for words here.
Yeah, well, it's that doesn't happen too often, Tom, either. So I'll try something else here for you.
Okay.
The project makes a statement about our city's position as the capital of northeastern Ontario and our community's commitment to accessibility, environmental sustainability, multiculturalism, ingenuity, social inclusion, and the importance of the culture industry. But first of all, my first comment is our city's position as the capital of northeastern Ontario. Are we indeed the capital?
Well, I didn't know northeastern Ontario was a separate province.
It should be, but
So, well, no, it shouldn't, because we couldn't survive without southern Ontario.
By transforming the existing City Hall facility, the project is a catalyst for further downtown revitalization. I don't know if I can go on any further here. I'm choking up on this. But how is that going to revitalize downtown by putting the library and the art gallery into Tom Davies Square when you can't even get to the thing?
It's all a big con job. That's all I can say, because none of that makes any common sense whatsoever. And everybody in the city knows that, except the proponents of what they're doing.
Yeah. Did they sort of get caught in because of the fact that some of the provincial offices moved out, people working at home and that sort of thing, and they had some extra space, and so, my God, I guess what we're going to do is put the art gallery and the library there, because that Junction East thing never really worked out. It got too expensive, and I can't. I guess I'm skeptical about the actual cost of what's going to happen. Plus, the inconvenience to the staff moving them from where they are now, and they're probably all going to be ordered back to work eventually, like in most other communities. Yes and no on that one, but they're going to be stuck over there in the provincial tower, and meanwhile, some of them are going to be here in their current location. They're going to run back and forth. They're going to be in the top floor. The art gallery is going to be on the bottom floors. This is that. Now, I'm no architecture for sure, but I have been involved in organizational structures to make them functional. This does not appear to be terribly functional.
Well, we have to look at what's been happening to our city, okay? It's gotten so bad downtown that 500 of our city employees left downtown and went to work at home. It's now gotten even so bad that city council is moving out of downtown and all of the committees are moving out of town. That's how bad it's gotten. So maybe the plan is that with the art gallery and the library there, maybe that will attract those people back into Civic Square. You hadn't thought about that, did you?
No.
No. Maybe, no. That, if it does that alone, well, maybe that's all it's intended to do, is to get those people back working in the city for the city. Well,
the parking we see now downtown in the area that's been cleared, rightly or wrongly, of all of the facilities in that area, they are filling up that parking space.
Oh, yeah.
So the question is, if we already have, this is very difficult for me to get my mind around, right? If we already have that parking, that area that's been cleared is already being used for parking, you're going to put an arena there, and you're not going to allow any more parking space, because that's going to be for development that's going to spring up magically from outside firms who are clamoring at the gate, I understand, to establish there. So there's going to be no parking, basically, except where you can find it on the street. Am I having difficulty with this? Or?
Well, yes. First point, of course, is, yes, the parking lot is full now. Keep in mind that that's with 500 people working from home.
That's right, I know, yeah.
So if those 500 show up at Civic Square to work, and the key word that you brought up is working.
Well, we would hope so. Although I know, in talking to a friend who is a professional in town, feels that probably we should at least adopt what the federal government has proposed, and that's a 15% reduction in staff over a period of time, which I believe can be achieved.
Well, yeah, but then some of the others would have to, as you said, work. This word work is an offensive term to people in institutions.
Well, definitely. It's a 4-letter word, right?
Yes. And like, it just anyhow, we could dwell on that forever.
But getting back to this particular situation with the culture hub, there's something here that seems to run counter to what we've been talking about. The development, I'm quoting here, the development of the culture hub at Tom Davies Square will create added parking supply pressures in the downtown South District. It's reasonable to anticipate this new location will have specific parking needs that need to be accommodated. But they don't say what it is. You know, they do say that over the past decade, several approaches have been used for assessing and maintaining awareness of parking needs, including the 2011 IBI downtown parking study that said they needed more parking. So on the one hand, if there's a realization, but there's no application.
Well, maybe under the arena, maybe they're going to put some underwater parking under the arena.
There's got to be a way around this somehow. But as a result of the denial, on one hand, of of what we have is a realization, but the two don't seem to be coming together. We got a problem, but the solution is not to build a parking garage, even though our official plan says we could be putting in 3 more. But with respect to the arena and the culture hub, we do not need any more parking because we already have the adequate parking, but the parking is going to be taken away by the development in the area where we've just cleared off all those businesses. I'm going around in a circle here, but I can't seem to get out of it.
Well, let's change the subject then. If anybody's listening that knows or watching that knows the answer to this question, please contact either John or myself and let us know.
And we will pass it along. Oh,
Yes.
well, no, maybe not, because no one listens to us.
Why, since the city gifted Bell Mansion to Laurentian University for $1, why does the city not take it back for $2 and leave the art gallery where it is or was in the Bell Mansion?
Oh, that's hearsay.
It's not hearsay, it's corruption on the part of Laurentian University. They want to sell it for $2 million. Well, they're selling what we gifted them.
Yep.
And that is not cricket. That should not be allowed. We should take it back, give them $2, that's 100% profit. They paid them $1 for it. $2, we'll pay them the $2 and take it back. And that should be the end of any discussions over Bell Mansion. So if somebody can explain why we're talking about gifting another $2 million to Laurentian University when they don't know how to manage whatever they had. And by the way, my understanding is that Laurentian University isn't out of deep water yet. There's always, and it hasn't gone away, there has been all along the matter of segregated funds that were never disclosed. Why not? It's a public institution. The segregated funds should have been at minimum investigated by the Auditor General of the province. Weren't. Why not?
A lot of good questions there, and of course, we all realize that the city gave Laurentian University $1 million a year over a period of 10 years to establish the Laurentian School of Architecture downtown.
Yep.
Which, of course, as we know, took away many parking spaces and basically destroyed retail in the downtown as well, too. So we have an institution that doesn't seem to be really part of the city. I mean,
they're running their own game.
Yeah, and the city refuses, apparently, to stand up to the university and say, "Wait a minute, this is a building that was donated to you, has cultural significance, could really be a true culture and tourist draw." But no, it's the mum. We keep mum on that for some reason.
Yep.
Is there a group in the city, as has been suggested, that are somehow aligned for their own purposes, but not those of the city's citizens?
Certainly would appear that way, John.
But the culture hub. So we'll see what happens. We have we don't want to be in the position of saying we told you so, but I think we are going to be in the position of told you so, because unless there, well, first of all, and I'm a member of the art gallery, so I feel free to talk about this. I'm aware of their finances, which are always questionable. Their attendance figures include activities that take place outside of the actual building. That's the old Bill Mansion. I've gone there on several days and have determined I've been the only person who's visited on a day. Art galleries do not attract hordes of visitors, and
No.
probably not tourists.
No.
If you want to really see art, you go to the large centers, and
Or you go to the real small ones like Killarney.
that's right. Or even there's one in Bogcajun, which is very nice.
Absolutely.
And many of the small communities, Kagawan, for example, is a good one.
But I have another question. Do we still have time for one
Oh
more
yeah,
question?
yeah. We got 3 minutes left.
Okay. I have to wonder if the contract hasn't already been let for the street artists. Once the private developer buys the Bell Mansion, for the street artists to go in and create another iconic street art exhibit, which after 15 years will knock down the Bell Mansion. Is that the long-term plan? And perhaps the mayor or one of the councillors could answer that to the news media? Because we'd sure like to know if that is a long-term plan.
It's an historical building. It has status. So what's going to happen? Is it going to be what do you call it? Airbnb
Yeah,
or something? I mean, who knows?
Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Yeah.
But the facility itself, as I mentioned, I'm quite familiar with it. And as a matter of fact, I've personally conducted, arranged for a number of concerts to take place there and speakers to appear. So it just didn't serve as an art gallery. It had other purposes as well. And really the amount of use that it could be put to, especially as a tourist attraction. But as I say, we're going to have to wait and see. But we're almost out of time again. We've been having a lot of fun here. Tom, and we still have freedom of speech in this country
Yeah,
and in town, but we wish more people would speak out.
absolutely. And I'll take an opportunity here. OTOCI, Our Towns, Our City Institute, has prepared a presentation on the state of our city that we will be giving around the city later this month and into October. And it's right now in the final stages of fact-checking all of the information we will be presenting, so there won't be any errors in the stuff that we present. And we plan to start by, if we can, arranging a first session at Laurentian University to involve the younger people in the community that are looking to very soon entering the work world, where they can contribute to paying for all the nonsense that's being imposed. So once you hear about our town hall meetings, please come out, attend, and find out what has been done to your taxes. Thank you very much, John. I appreciate the opportunity of talking with you.
And as we have said in our previous sessions, we welcome you to contact us.
Yeah.
We welcome our politicians, those who disagree with this, of course, to express their views too, because it's possible that we may have erred in some way, but I doubt that. We doubt that. But in any event, thanks very much for viewing. And Tom Price of our Town Our City Institute. And I'm John Lindsay. I've been involved with many different organizations since 1966 I came to Sudbury.
Good Lord, you beat me by 2 years.
Yeah, and I thought this place has potential. And I think we were on the right track there for a while, but maybe we've gone off the track. And maybe with your help, we can be back on the track again. So thanks very much for viewing.
Thank you very much.